Hey guys, SeanB here, and today we are discussing the new RTA tier list by Seiishizo, legend G3 RTA player from EU, very smart player, and I mostly agree with the tier list, but I want to give you guys my point of view, and please check out his video for his original thought about the unit.
Whole bunch of teams like Savannah, so it's not up here.
For my video, I'll be taking out most of the LD unit because most people don't have them anyway. The strong LD unit are still strong. The weak LD units are still kind of weak. To me, there are two noticeable changes in the LD roster, being the Light Mermaid Molly and the Dark Ninja Han. This is the point system by the original creator. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button so that we can get to 100,000 by the end of the year. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get to the tier list. Let's dive right in. In the highest rank of the tier list, we have Jane, the Fire Phantom Thief. Best unit in the game, pretty much. No argument about that. Next, we have the obvious strong LD unit being Gianna out of Ragdoll. Pretty obvious as well, nothing really changed. Below the God tier LD, we have the God tier elemental unit being Hathor. Molly being the new addition to the top tier roster with that 25% healing in her passive is insane. Her healing is percentage based, which means it doesn't get worse when HP decrease, and when she heal tanky unit like Ala Ragdoll, Molong, or just tanky unit in general, she heal by a lot. And with one violent proc, she can heal 50%. So if you kill her, she can revive by Taranis. You take a turn violent proc, she's back to being healthy with a defense buff. So this unit is insane. She can be used against CC team as well, because beside Hathor, most of the CC unit will have to touch the enemy somehow, and if you glance, due to Molly passive, you will not land stun, which make her really insane in that regards. So add some RNG to your team against a CC team. Also good against Cleave, which is a very popular option for most player in G1 and below. There's a lot of Cleave out there, and Molly's insane. Against low damage CC team, like let's say Fran, Gani Hath, or Okeanos, normally that will control you and take around 5 minutes to 10 minutes to kill you because they don't have a lot of damage. With Molly in the team, good luck killing a team with Molly in it. So she's just really relevant right now. Han, the new crazy damage dealer. He can delete a target if you don't have Will Rune, because he might defense break in the first or second hit, and then stun the next target, or maybe finish up the tanky target that he didn't manage to kill, or killing those self-revive nonsense like Taranis or Vanessa revive, go through Triana passive, all that good stuff in Han. Pretty solid unit. Strong base stand being an Nat5 too. Moving down to 85, we have Chiwu. He went from, Chiwu is a meme because last time he's kind of shit, to being one of the most popular speed leader in the RTA department. Super strong, can push back attack bar, usually be on swift, with high accuracy, get hard counter by a triple revenge vert. But with Chiwu, you can choose to single target strip to ignore the vert or AoE strip. So with Chiwu, you have option. Unlike Triton, you're forced to do the AoE skill if you want to strip. So Chiwu is really cool. And also the speed lead for the entire team, crazy good. Beast Riders are still very good. I personally have a Savannah. I think she's insane. I fight Barbara every day still. I think she's insane. Beast Riders are still really good, especially when more good runes are being put on them, because when they get destroyed, they keep the debuff. So people want to put better runes on Beast Riders. They're still really strong. Fran, still one of the best melee buffer support unit in the game for RTA or in the game in general. And Vigor, skyrocket in ranking as well, now being in a very solid spot in 85. Really good unit overall for damage, healing, kill Miho, kill Beast Riders potentially. If you have good accuracy with artifact now, he can defense break consistently, do good damage. He kills the LD unit with a defense break. Just a very solid unit overall. Even though it's a HP type unit, he's probably the only sort of HP type unit in here. Crazy. Molly's another HP type unit, Vigor's another HP type unit, but Vigor's scaling has attack scaling and the damage. His damage doesn't get weak after a while, and his healing is not based on his HP, so it's strong regardless. You can pick Vigor in the second phase of picking pretty much in many different matches, and there are many strong fire units that Vigor can destroy. So he's just really good support overall. In the past, nobody noticed this guy, but slowly when more Japanese play him, when Vert was still dominating the meta, Vigor started to appear more frequent to push Vert down to 75 right there. Vert is not that popular anymore on Violent Revenge. Now you only pick Vert pretty much to counter AoE team with triple revenge build. So Vigor is really insane. Going down, we have Sierra, Gani, Okeanos, very obvious strong control unit. But we have Masha in the 80, which I don't really agree. I think Masha is more of a situational unit. If I were to put Masha somewhere, I'll put her like down here or maybe 70. But hey, G3 players say Masha is still crazy strong. I'm not too sure. If you don't have Ragdoll to push her attack bar consistently, then she doesn't get her stacks very fast. If enemy have immunity to protect from defense break, she doesn't do much damage. Not really that crazy in my opinion, unless you have all the other Nat 5 to accompany her. If Masha is one of the Nat 5 you have limited Nat 5, I don't think she's gonna be that strong. But she's pretty solid still. Very high damage, fast, hard to control with the attack bar reduction in the passive. What do you call that? Attack bar reduction. Taranis is here because he's one of the best bruiser in the game. He can fit in a control team as well if you want because he can provoke and stun. Bover being very high, while Molong is being very low. It's kind of weird to me. I usually see them together, but Bover can be picked against the tanky Artamia Ragdoll player a lot because they usually go in with heavy immunity as well. So with Bover, you can do damage to them without touching their passive, which is really good. I think in a G3 point of view, Bover is really high because in G3 you see Artamia Ragdoll like it's every day, it's every matches. So Bover is very popular, but in lower rank where you see a lot of control team or cleave, Bover doesn't really do anything, so you can't really pick him that often. If enemy don't pick any buffer, Bover cannot be used. But yeah, maybe in higher rank you see more tanky bruisers with buff, so Bover is really popular. But for me, he's gonna be here, and Molong's probably gonna go up next to him as well. But in G3I, he is a very solid unit. Hi, he's a very solid unit, but to me, very situational. Going down to 75, we have popular unit with good kits. We have Basset, Cleaver, high damage team, aggressive team, bruiser team with violent build. I love Bastet now. I'm learning how to use her and I love it. Game ends really fast when you run attack buff and damage unit. It's really fun to play with, enjoyable. No need some stupid RNG to work. Hey, Bastet a very good unit. It's like Fran but super aggressive in your pick. Leo getting very popular due to the amount of beast riders people use, and Leo allow you to run bruiser comp with lower speed, but Leo will equalize the playing field between two teams. They can be super fast with like their Wunsa, their Ciara, their Ganihata, or whatever. Your team is kind of slow, but if you pick in a way that Leo can make it through the pick ban, then your team are not losing too much in terms of speed. The attack bar gain will be the same, so Vigor speed buff will not affect Leo passive, which means nobody's outspeeding you. Which means if you can survive, you will get your turn back quickly. The thing about Gani, Hathor or control team is that they outspeed you and then they control your attack bar. So you feel that they take way too many turns. But with Leo in the playing field, then they will not take too many turns compared to you. Segment being pretty high up in 75 as well, despite being quite situational in my opinion. But against multi-buff unit, like people like to use Velaju, Bastet, Fran, Triana, Vigor, then Segment can just keep stealing buff, which is really cool. But more often than not, you pick Segment because you want to kill Taranis. The defense break, the strip reset, really good. Vanessa, popular choice for most people for speed lead, very easy unit to use. Put her in there and she's already immediately pretty solid. I run mine not on will rune, just run with pure stats, because if I pick Vanessa Triana and enemy pick Daphne, they will probably ban one and then just kill the other. So with Vanessa not on will, then it's a bit more awkward for the enemy. And I find if I run Vanessa, a lot of time I outspeed the enemy anyway with a speed lead. They're trying to take turn 2. So will rune on Vanessa doesn't make a huge difference. Daphne's top tier, one-shot a unit, pretty much instant ban for many different situations if you pick him last. An enemy has no counter to Daphne and they don't want to lose a unit in turn 1. But using Daphne is always a roll of the dice, because you have to land a strip and then you have to land a defense break. So it's kind of scary to use Daphne. But if he works, it's crazy good. I use him a lot. I run him now on Will Shield Nemesis. Currently my favorite build. There's a lot of time I start the game with Barbara being on the enemy team. She go in with the skill, whatever. She damage my Daphne cut in between and kill enemy Hathor. And I pretty much win. But that's my build for now. Swift is pretty good too. Violence pretty good too. Depending on your playstyle, you run your Daphne accordingly. You are turn 1 player, Swift. Turn 2 player, Violent or Will Shield Nemesis. Love it. Abelio, very high up. Used to be a whatever druid in people's eye, but nowadays I hate this thing. When I see it, oh my god. The cut in between to heal, the damage coming out from skill 2, wearing Abelio is very scary. Very good against Cleave, and Cleave is very popular in C3, G1 and below, because he just cut in between to heal, and that's super annoying. When he heal, he provoke as well, and he can stun. So Abelio make Ariel look like a joke, and Taranis make Eladriel look like a joke. Triana, very popular unit against Daphne, against Cleave. High damage can be built into Triana with speed with damage, HP. Get her very fast, give her front Vigor buff, she start hitting like crazy. Okay, no joke. Really, really good. You can make a team out of Fran, Vigor, Triana, and the other 2 unit will be whatever unit you have that is strong and situational to counterpick the enemy. But Vigor, Fran, Triana together all can be on will runes to be generally good. You may say Triana on will is better against Daphne, but if you pick will, you can use Triana in more situation that, you know, enemy trying to run Gani, Hathor and shit. So Fran, Triana, Vigor together and 2 other unit that is situational will be solid. Attack buff, speed buff, Triana can hit really, really hard. Mina can be built many different ways. Swift, Vial, Vampire, they're all good depending on your team. You want to counter enemy first turn Chiwu or Okeanos, you run a Swift Mina, potentially destroy their attack bar turn 1. Or you can run a Vial or Vampire. Bruiser Mina can still do so much damage because you don't have to get that much crit rate on her. So she can have a lot of stats to be a bruiser damage dealer. Juno, very popular unit to solo CC team. If you run a well-run Juno with good artifact that have additional damage according to speed, attack, or HP or whatever, she can do a lot of damage on the enemy. And Juno usually get single out and left alone. Sometimes she get target first, sometimes she get left alone. Max crit rate Juno doing a lot of damage, stunning enemy with Despair Rune is where she's at. A lot of time I run Bastet Velaju and 3 damage dealer. I hate Juno. She strip everything, put everything to dots, very strong. And a lot of time she solo Bastet Velaju easily because Bastet keep putting debuff, she keep healing. And I can't buff. And it's really insane. Rika, very popular unit to be last picked in most of the matches. She get banned a lot as well because she's the last pick when you don't see immunity on the enemy team. And she go in with so much dots and slow debuff and control and damage on the Despair Rune. Insane unit. But last pick. Don't pick her early. They're just gonna pick immunity and you'll be like, God damn it, Rika doesn't do anything now. Lauren lost her popularity, used to be very high and now in the middle range. Still very solid unit for the strip. But Barbara just become a better version of her with the defense break and the attack bar control. Or Vigor with the defense break and the speed advantage that Vigor can give to your team. These 2 will be the defense breaker of the Gani Hathor people. Last time I used to run a lot of Lauren with Gani Hathor, but the fact that she's kind of swishy and she can miss a lot of time and she's only single target, make her, if she missed, she can be very useless and she die very quickly. If you run Genny Hathor and Vigor, you can run immunity, protect your Genny Hathor, and you still have a defense breaker, which is really good. And the speed buff allow you to take advantage of your speed against the enemy. You run Barbara, you want to be aggressive, you have attack bar boost to tune your team better. Lauren kind of fall off, but still pretty solid for most players out there. If you don't have Barbara, she's still the turn 1 strip to get followed up by Genny or Hathor or whatever you have to follow after her. Can be built on Swift or Vial, very solid unit. Velagil, super good, super good. His fire, which means Hathor's second skill strip into sleep, will fail half the time, or more than that, because of 15% base resistance. And when he buff immunity, a lot of units become useless, like Savannah, Genny Hathor, Ciara, Okeanos. They become useless. When I see Ciara or Hathor, I immediately draft Velagil, and that's already one annoying thing on my team, that they have to ban or deal with it. With the recent buff to skill 2 cooldown reduction, he does so much damage. Love it. Elucia, very good against the LD unit on top right there. That's why she's still very popular. But kind of losing her popularity to Vigor. Last time Vigor will be down here and Elucia will be up there. But Vigor is getting so much more popularity because of the aggressiveness that the unit can bring to end the fight fast with damage. Elucia will make the fight pretty long because of auto control, but not too much damage. And she kind of die when enemy runs a lot of immunity. She doesn't do anything. But Vigor can still provide that speed to allow your team to cycle turn quickly. But still very good unit when you don't see immunity. Especially good against Vert, Miho, and Antares. A lot of people trying to luck sack you with that. Put in Lucia and control them. Very strong. Dinah is still here in a high spot to be very good against heavy water. Like Vigor, Bover, Molong, Taranis kind of people. You strip all that stupid buff. Anti-crit doesn't matter to you. So Dinah's still very popular. Very strong last pick contender against strong water team. Usually be banned immediately because she's very hard to control, especially when she's last pick. You don't see her coming, then she often get banned. But when she make it through, she's gonna be really annoying. Shiho losing the spot to Barbara and Vigor as the water favorite unit because when Shiho strip, there's no attack bar involved. Tuning people to move right after Shiho might be a problem. Shiho AoE stun is not consistent. It might work amazingly on a day. It might doesn't work any at all on a day. So that is very bad. Barbara skill 3 and Savannah skill 2 can destroy Shiho pretty easily. Dinah can also destroy Shiho. Triana can destroy Shiho. Taranis make using Shiho very annoying. So he's not that popular anymore, but when you pick him last in a spot where there's no counter to him, he's gonna be very strong. Vert losing popularity, but a lot of people swear they would do anything in their life to just get rid of triple revenge Vert in the game, because that is 45% chance to destroy an entire team with Chiwu, Savannah, or whatever, right? Chiwu strip AoE, Vert revenge, you buff immunity, game is over. You pretty much win. So triple revenge Vert is the way now to build Vert, and it's just dumb stupid when it works. Now moving on to 70, more situational pick, betterness being the more aggressive Rika but harder to rune. You have to run crit damage, accuracy, some HP, some attack. You need a lot of stats on him, but he can wipe the entire enemy, solo carry. Very strong, but you need to build him well. Compared to Rika, who has accuracy awakening, and you only need to build her speed, HP, and the dots will do everything for you. Crazy strong. But betterness is good as well. Last pick, AoE damage. But when enemy has immunity, he doesn't really do anything. Submath, 33% speed lead against Cleave, or just aggressive team in general, because he can do so much damage, and when he come back, he do more damage. But there are so many cooldown reset options up here, which make Submath passive might not be as strong. But when you pick him against Cleave or people trying to be aggressive with Beast Rider, he might be a trouble to deal with. Ethna, a simple version of Savannah. It's very similar. Single target strip, AoE defense break and control. But Savannah is so good with second life doing so much more damage. And the speed buff for the team make her more of a team player than Ethna. Raki, hide up in the ranking because there are many Vanessa Triana users out there. There are many Miho abuser out there. You can pick her last and destroy people that trying to bring a lot of revive in. And I love her. I use her a lot now. And she's really amazing. Harmonia. You mostly see Harmonia, Molong, Bolverk, Taranis. That entire setup is a very popular bruiser setup because it brings healing, damage, control, a lot of different things. And Harmonia is very good to heal up Molong after the Reckless Assault. I also use Harmonia against Arta Ragdoll because she can do a lot of damage with that skill 3 without touching them, which is really, really good. And they do a lot of damage to me, but not enough to kill me. Then Harmonia can just flip the table, and it's amazing. Miho, the bane of all the people who like to play aggressive, but sometimes she can be just dumb and dumb and dumb. My Bastet with 18 crit on Miho 3 times in a row. Happens every day. And it's just crazy how this unit can just destroy your entire team. But more and more people are learning how to cope with her, how to live with Miho in the meta. They be more careful when they play against Miho. They're trying to put debuff on her. Then she's not that strong anymore. And when you kind of just know how to play around Miho, she doesn't do anything for the team, then she's not that crazy. But still, situationally good. Against Cleave, against Beast Rider user who are very aggressive, you can die pretty easily to like Elusia or Vigor, or Amina is a very good counter to Miho, or Bastet destroy her, Dots and Shield destroy her. There's a lot of ways to deal with her, especially with how Sia is very popular in RTA as well. Tetra, being high ranking but super situational because you might only see her when you see Nephthys most of the time. You don't really see Tetra that much because the healing is kind of small and she didn't cleanse inability effect. Amelia kind of go down here with Wusa as the Nat 5 immunity buffer to be that second immunity to go with Fran and Velaju. They're not that strong because they don't provide much outside of their constant immunity, but a violent proc from Amelia can change the flow. Let's say you go into the game, I strip the Amelia, I reset her with Oki or whatever, she didn't have skill right now, and she violent proc, change into human form and can cleanse immediately. So one violent proc for Amelia can change the flow against a CC team. But overall, if she get targeted by Taranis or Beast Riders or Diana, she die very quickly in human form. Triton, unlike Chiwu, he get destroyed by Vert even more because he has too strong AoE skill being a wind unit. So Vert loves to revenge this Triton. Unlike Chiwu, who can choose to single target and has speed lead for the entire team, which makes him much more of a team player. Triton is more of a counter pick when you see that if you pick Triton, they have to ban it because Triton's way too fast to counter. So not really that strong compared to Chiwu, but still a strong counter pick in general. You can build a Despair Triton to trick people as well, which is really solid because they have 2 AoE skill. Wusa, immunity unit, but lose his shield value over time and healing over time, lose damage as well. Nowadays, not that popular because after he buffed the immunity, he become kind of useless for a while and then he buffed his immunity again. With Fran, you can actually cleanse somebody or put attack break on somebody very consistently and just nullify a unit with attack break. But Wusa, if you land asleep, then yeah, but if you don't land asleep, then he doesn't really do anything. Now going down to a more situational group, one thing to note, Seiishizo doesn't really value Cleaver. So as you can see right here, you have Lucian down here, you have Garo, Draco down here, because Cleaver are very strong until a point where people are too tanky to cleave. Simply with Lucian or Garo, you have to go in with Raki, Beast Riders, Daphne, and all that stuff to kill them, and not just simply ignoring their defense anymore. And people get very smart, higher and higher in the ranking, with more option that has like healing, anti-death, revive, all that stuff to deal with Cleave. That's why Cleaver are kind of down here, but if this is a C3 or C1 tier list, Cleaver will probably be here because you can pick them almost all the time and they're really, really strong. We have Chao starting off the 65 role, situational, not really that good compared to Laika. I think is a beast against a lot of team because I'm now playing a lot with shield and immunity, and Laika just go through all of that and I hate it. I think Laika is much crazy. I think Laika should be like at least 70 or maybe even go to 75 due to how crazy damage he can do. But a lot of unit up here can deal with Leica, like the Barbara Vigor, the Mina Shiho, the Lucia, the Masha. They're all pretty decent against Leica, and Leica can be controlled like any other unit with Gani Hathor and stun from Okeanos. So maybe that's why he's not that crazy. But with good immunity protection, Leica is gonna solo a lot of different people, and he's crazy good to me. Antara is moving down the list, being very inconsistent nowadays. I don't know why. They shadow nerf him or something. Even when people run a lot of turn cycling team, and when I look at Antares, I don't really want to pick him because most of the time he doesn't work. It's just that he doesn't proc, and it doesn't really do anything if he doesn't proc. So I don't really like him anymore. So I think he deserves to be here. Lucian, as mentioned, the Monkey Kings got buffed recently with 2-turn cooldown skill 2. Still pretty niche. I see them once in a while, but they're not that crazy strong. How you deal with them before, you deal with them the same way. You control their attack bar, you don't let them move, and that's about it. You put attack break with Fran, they don't do any damage. So very easily control, but much better than what they used to be with a long cooldown skill 2. Josephine going down in the ranking as well because there's a lot of attack bar pushback nowadays instead of just control. And people are opting to use more bruiser comp and just straight up damage like Daphne's. So she doesn't do much anymore. People don't control her with debuff. So she can't get that much turn. But still a very good pick against control team like Hathor. If there's a Gani involved, it's getting really tricky for the Josephine user. So she's not that good. But to fight against like a traditional CC user without Beast Riders, she's still pretty good. Especially when you can ban the Gani out of the way. Molong is pretty low. I'm not too sure. I think Molong and Bover should be near each other. But unlike Bover, which can heal and steal buff, Molong doesn't really do that often. Sometimes he can pop off and strip stun the entire enemy team. But he's kind of chilling down here. You see Molong only with Taranis, Harmonia, and Bover. You don't really see Molong solo, so he's dependent on a group of unit to work well. So maybe that's why he's not really that popular. But in Legend Tournament, when you see a lot of Ranked or Artemia, Molong's really popular because Molong is a way to kill them efficiently. Anival is here as well. I think Anival is pretty good for a turn 2 player. Maximum resist Anival. Going turn 2, putting that slow debuff down with defense break to kill enemy quickly is pretty good. But she can be controlled very easily. And being water, in this wind being one of the strongest elements in the game, Arkia being down as well. I'm not too sure about Arkia being down here. For an average player, I think Arkia will probably be here. She has one of the best skill in the game. A reset control a lot of like passive player like Vanessa, Triana. She has a strip. So I think Arkia should be like here, to be honest, and not like down there. I'll put Molong somewhere here as well, being how popular he is in like middle range people, and he's pretty good at it. Helena, turn 2 player, can solo carry. I think solid. You put her on Violent Will, just high crit damage, max crit rate, pray that she don't get control, and then she can wipe the entire enemy team. Like Sierra, Gani, Hatha, Okeanos, and if they miss the control on Helena, or Helena get a violent proc, she can just wipe the entire enemy team. Crazy good. Mephisto, very good actually, kind of underrated, but not popular, being he only works when enemy run heavy revive. If they don't run heavy revive, then there's not much reason to pick him. But when they do, let's say they run Vanessa, Hathor, and something, and Taranis, then he can actually sometimes cleanse the sleep with skill 2 if he proc a violent out of sleep and then cleanse the entire team. Or he can just need to be there so that you can kill enemy without worrying about reviving. So in that regard, he's pretty solid, but not very popular because he's kind of situational. Rogue, I don't see much Rogue team nowadays. Rogue is very niche in that Bastet comp with Elsharion to steal buff. That is a fun comp to play with, but you don't see much Rogue nowadays, to be honest. Virat, very solid unit to last pick to control enemy team, but without slow debuff. Then it's really hard to consistently control the enemy team. And there's so many strong wind unit as well. That's why Rika and Veteranus are very popular. But similar to Rika Belenus, a last pick when you see enemy don't run immunity or you run a slow team with double strippers. But that kind of team also die down slowly because when you get outsped, there's a lot of unit out here that can strip and kill you in the same skill. Ophelia not very good because there's so much AoE control. You can provoke them, they can still do with their AoE skill, and you do nothing to protect your team. Praha, unlike Juno, cannot solo people, but do very similar stuff with being able to use the spare stun very strong, and strip into dodge very strong, but once again, unlike Juno, can't solo people, so kinda down here. Perna. I picked Perna with 0 speed when people try to pick Leo against me. And in that spot, Perna is pretty strong. Because you can put all the HP and attack and crit damage on her, and she can have 0 speed. And I only use that against Leo user. Normally, Perna get destroyed by Vigor, or she get cooldown reset by Gani or Oki, and then she die pretty much immediately. Poseidon. I think Poseidon is a bit more underrated with that skill 3 being really strong, and now non-glancing with that skill 3 is kind of solid. If you have Chiwu and Poseidon, I recommend you to go that route. It's really fun to go first and control people with Poseidon. But the fact that he doesn't actually stun and maybe have to rely on the spare, Vert is still pretty good. Triple Revenge Vert, because you're forced to run the AoE skill. Asia moving all the way down here and not all the way up there anymore where he used to be. Obvious reason being Vigor so good. Much more of a team player, and Vigor require very good rune to perform. And now with Taranis being so popular, oh my god, poor Vigor. Even Triana is really good against him. Charlotte, a weaker version of AoE compared to Ethna or Savannah. But if you don't have them and you have Charlotte, maybe you want to use her. She's also an AoE wind control. Can also die to Vert Triple Revenge very easily. That's why she's down here. Elsharion. Situationally good with Rogue right here. You can team up and steal people buff and protect your entire team while doing a lot of damage. And I think he's more underrated as well. I think I'll put him like up here. If you know how to use him, you want to dedicate yourself to the Elsharion art. Stealing buff, because a lot of things here can be stolen. But when people have multiple buff, he can be a bit inconsistent. But he can be pretty good. We have Tessarion here to deal with all the passive up here. But he's getting more popular. I don't think he's here. I think he's more of a here. He's pretty good. But because there can be a match where there are 4 units with passive and you don't know which one to put Oblivion on first, and maybe you get cleansed somewhere in between, then it doesn't really do anything. So yeah, maybe he's down here. Because there's so many immunity and cleanser in the meta that are popular, that got picked pretty much every game. Oblivion doesn't really do much. Yeah, he's okay to be here. Going down to the Garo Draco area. So these two, super popular in lower rank, very strong, hard to deal with. In higher rank, unless you have some crazy rule on them, they probably won't be able to kill the popular option up here. But in the middle range, they can be very hard to deal with because they're so strong. Tiana being down here due to her low base speed. Imagine she has like 105 base speed, she'll be like all the way up here. But low base speed and no speed lead make her down here. She can't outspeed nobody, she get reset and she die. But if you have like a 220 bonus speed Tiana, nobody gonna stop you from stripping the entire enemy team and pushing them down with AoE skill. Fanyan. So many good fire defense breaker. And a Lauren can simply destroy Fanyan, so he's kinda down here. Jean. Free-to-play 2-turn control unit that is like a free-to-play Hathor, but because Provoke is not as good due to the fact that there are many units with strong skill 1, so Jean can destroy quickly even if they are provoked. Jemaya, situationally good in certain team like the double Julie, Lucian, Tableau team. Other than that, he's kind of meh. He doesn't do much with his 1 and 2nd skill. His skill 3... You see him sometime though. I think he's kind of underrated. Maybe he's more like here. But you don't see him a lot because skill 1 and skill 2 doesn't do much in the fight. Madame protection. Actually, Madame is not that bad. Is very good against people trying to really one-shot you. So situationally, when you pick Madame, it might be a false ban, to be honest. So I think Madame might move up 1 rank. Wind Mermaid being down here. Oh. I think she's more underrated still. A lot of people don't use her because why use her when you have all these other options, right? But for people who don't, she might be pretty solid, to be honest. But more like a hidden gem. Maybe she's more like a hidden gem to me. Gemini, very strong in the middle rank where you can easily cleave people with AoE, make your game fast. But in high rank, a simple Leo pick will be very strong in Gemini, or people just outspeed you simply with better speed lead. And when you run Gemini, your entire team have to follow up very, very tightly, and that leaves a lot of room for error with runes. So if you don't follow up after Gemini quickly, you get cut in between by some other thing, you might lose. Shina Martina losing that speed lead from Shina and attack bar reduction really hurt this team. And there are many strong anti-death mechanic in the meta, so they're not that popular anymore. And people are kind of used to this now. Maybe some strong player will bring this back, I don't know. Lagmaron suffered that AoE damage, that Vert triple revenge phobia thing, and he needs support to do good damage, so he's not that good. Odin. I'm not too sure about Odin being here. I think Odin's more like at least 1 rank or 2 rank above, because he can be really annoying to deal with, especially when you run a water heavy team. He's like that wind unit that can strip, ignore defense, a lot of bruiser calm that doesn't have like strong kill potential. Odin can be very annoying to deal with. So I think if I have Odin, I'll use him a lot for fun, and he's probably gonna go up a little bit instead of being down here. And you see a lot of Bastet, Odin, Daphne's team that are very, very good, because you ban one, you still have to deal with the other, and they can both ignore defense. Not exactly, Daphne doesn't ignore defense, but they can both one-shot you. And that snipe team is very fun to play with. Rank 55, I think he mentioned Rakan will probably be here. I agree with Rakan being there. Rakan not being really, really good in the meta. And there are many stripper available to take away what he is good at, which is self-buffing to protect and give himself damage. So he doesn't do much. That's why he's kind of down here. We have the Drunken Master here to replace the Art Master icon, which is not in the website yet. So Fire Art Master, I'll put him situational, low win rate, but situationally good, because the strip into attack buff works really well with Beast Riders. The scrolls sealing is good against passive that help the team like Triana. You seal Triana, you can kill everything outside the seal. Without Triana intervention. Is that a word? I don't know, maybe. So I think he's situationally good, but not high win rate, because not a lot of people are using enough actually. The water one is kind of shit, so I think he's gonna be here. It doesn't do much, doesn't strip that much, doesn't help the team that much. The wind one, I think, is here. He's kind of bad because he's like a mediocre stripper, mediocre resetter, mediocre damage dealer. He's very good at having that leader skill for Lucian though, in other spot of the game. But he's mediocre at everything except for the leader skill. So he's kind of here. Izaria, the water succubus, I think is really, really good in middle range, because one of the best skill 1 in the game. Skill 3 is solid. She doesn't strip, so she's kind of in the balanced rank. If enemy team don't have any wind unit, she can totally control the entire enemy team by herself. Crazy good. Crazy good. Work with Hathor as well, so she's not bad at all. I love her. She's really, really good. Can be built with high damage too if you want, but a simple speed, HP, accuracy, and she can control all these water, fire annoying thing. Push back Juno attack bar even to destroy that anti-CC unit. Rakuni, I think, is more of a situational low win rate down here to counter control, just like Josephine. The attack bar reduction meta destroy Rakuni potential. But if you don't have anything better to use to counter enemy control calm, a strong build Rakuni, a high speed Rakuni might be the answer for you. If you don't have like Velaju, you don't have Juno, you don't have, you know, they take your Fran already, you got nothing to deal with Hathor, Gani, might as well use a Rakuni, right? Water Sniper, I'll put him here. He's there potentially to counter a lot of different things that can one-shot you, you one-shot them first. So he can one-shot a Dragon Knight and have no problem with that. In middle rank, I use Kali a lot now. I think she's amazing when you pick them right. When enemy has no one-shot counter and you just one-shot the enemy unit without much trouble, especially those with high defense like these, hey, ignoring defense is really, really fun. But not 2A, I think is pretty solid. I'll put her into the situational low win rate because a lot of people don't use Bernard 2A, but for me, when you want some attack bar cycling and you can't pick Vert because they have too much water unit, I think Bernard is gonna be very solid. Good damage, good debuff, turn cycling. Hey, I think it's not bad at all. Against Molong, Bover, you know, turn cycling with Bernard, I think is really, really solid. Tyrone, another speed lead. I'll put him in this spot right here because he doesn't have strip. May even go to this actually. It's a last pick option to control enemy team that has no wind element unit. He might be really, really good. So it's more like Virat. He's more here together with Virat. The last pick water CC unit if you want to have one. The 19% speed lead is good, but it's kind of low when everybody's rocking 24 or 33. The Dark Bomber with Han leader skill, he's really good if you pick Han with him. Without Han, then he's more like Triton. Yeah, I'll put him in the Triton tier, but maybe more to the 65, somewhere in between here because of the low base speed. But the strip into silence, I think, is really, really strong. And if you don't have an AoE stripper and you have him because of HOH, hey, why not? We have Clara, I think is also in the Triton tier. Strip into stun, but very inconsistent. So she's more like 65 to 70. So AoE strip, but no speed lead, and can fail a lot of time. But hey, if you don't have anything better to use, I think Clara's not too bad. These units were not mentioned. I don't see them in the RTA tier list, so I'm trying to slot them in. Bella Dion. I think Bella is very underrated. You can actually build like a super tanky Bella to use when people pick Leo. So very tanky, yeah, just very tanky Bella. And heal and defense break against Leo Com with attack bar boost with skill 3. I think it's very, very good. So violent will, no speed to use against Leo. But it's more like a Lauren without the attack bar reduction. He can reduce attack bar with skill 1 but not consistent. So maybe if Lauren's here, I would rather push him somewhere like 65 to be honest. He deserves to beat. I think he's really good. Chilling against heavy buff unit like Bastet, Veladru team, Wusa, Fran team, I think Chilling has a role to be. So maybe in the 65 tier as well. Not complete garbage, honestly. And I think Odin, if I can move Odin, I'll move Odin to the 70. Okay. Christina, it's just a meme. I kind of like her. because he has Galnia tier, but we don't do LD Nat 5, so I have Christina tier here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you watched until the end, let me know in the comment section down below so I can leave a heart on your comment, because I don't know how you watched until the end, but you did. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. My voice is gonna go bye-bye after this. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!